Visualization. Okay, you're seeing me. See, that's a visualization. You see a lot of things behind me. In a shot, in a one shot, people may think that you don't see a lot behind me, but you can see there's a pillow there. I'm actually waiting there. There's a pillow there. If I turn around, you can see there's a fireplace, and there is a what is it, jack? This thing head here. There's a plank. There's a futon. Visualization. This is not a lot to actually visualize, and I'm not the guy to actually look at and be visualized about. However, when it comes to writing, you may want to really do some sort of visualization before you can write. Most of the people who write stories, they have a visual thing in their mind. What location, what the character is going to do with the location or inside the location, what a specific character is going to say about the location. So that is very important when it comes to writing poetry. Visualization, that means you are not going to speak like a story writer, but you have to bring that image of the in maybe 3 lines or 4 lines. Maybe some poets I have seen taking like 4 quatrains before they even say what is this character or what is this whole thing to do, anything to do with this main theme. They will be saying, oh yeah, they were sitting on top of a rock, or sitting on top of a mountain, or walking through a bridge, or standing by a bridge. There are poems that are like that, standing by a bridge in Middleton, England, or something like that. I'm not saying it's all wrong. It is a visualization aid. When you say standing by the bridge in Westminster Abbey, so what is going to come to into your mind? Westminster Abbey is, of course, 99.9% of the world already knows what is Westminster Abbey. It is in England, and it is a church. And the moment you actually say that, it comes there, or standing by, Statue of Liberty. Everybody knows that. What is Statue of Liberty? So that immediately that image comes. That's the idea. So you need to actually say a couple of lines at least to actually say, where is this occurring? Where is this particular thing, particular event which you are speaking about occurs? A reader actually may look into it from different angles. That's not up to you to decide. It's not like making a movie where you decide the angle. Okay, this is the angle, or this is a shot I'm going to show you. No. That is, that's the difference between making a video movie or taking a picture and showing it to the world and deciding, okay, this is my angle, this is my view, and this is what I'm showing you. Instead, you are pretty much giving a 360-degree view for the reader. And it is the reader that decides, okay, I am looking at my right, or I'm looking at my left, or I'm looking upside, or I'm looking downside, unless that is relevant to your poem. So this is where the visualization comes in, how the visualization fits in. These things matters a lot when it comes to writing poetry. And at least for me, some people, I don't think anybody in my reading ability, I've gone beyond that visualization and saying, oh, I don't have to see anything, things just going to pop up. But that doesn't necessarily mean you can put a bunch of videos or images in front of you in CDs and make a poem, unless you are super talented in that way, where you show picture after picture after picture, and when somebody comes and looks at those pictures in that order, then you are going to give them an idea. But that is a viewpoint poem. There are limitations for that poem to really work, and unless there is words associated with it. if you are a good there is a word in Malayalam which I don't want to really absolutely say at all at this point, but if you are a good-hearted viewer or a reader, a good reader will understand the poem from just looking at those images. A bad reader, who don't know anything about this, when you look at that thing, you will be looking at this, hell is this? So we don't want to put anybody into that situation. Yeah, we want to give them the absolute view. So that's where things comes to. So I'm going to actually show a bunch of videos, and I'm going to actually show some images which I actually pulled, and I'm actually putting it in whatever order. Even if you are going to look at one picture and then another picture and there's another picture in different order, you can look at it. Then I'm going to actually write that, not the description, write the poem that comes out of it. Because that is pretty much where I'm going to actually put the location. That's pretty much where the environment, where what I'm talking about is going to be. I can say, the images for those things are going to come. Even though the idea may not be absolutely it is general. The idea probably is way general than just that piece of land or that these videos and this thing is happening on a beach. That means a girl on a beach. That's what I'm actually going to go after. So there is a girl, and there is that girl's video, and her pictures and the sunset and beach and all those things we are going to put in there, and then I'm going to go after my own idea how to actually put that there. So let's go into the videos and the images and everything, and then let's come back and see how it adds up. Okay, there you go. There you can right now see the video of this girl on a beach, and then she's walking through the beach side and turning and smiling. That's one. Then we are actually going after the beach itself. What is this beach? So this is, I actually selected another video from a collection which you can find all over the internet. These free videos that are available, they are not even copyrighted. These are not copyrighted at all. So I collected from many places. You don't have to actually collect it. You only need to really go around and look around for videos of beaches. You can see it on YouTube and Dailymotion or whatever you call them, or just free websites where you can see these kind of videos. So this gives you an idea. Then I'm coming to the girl, and this is just an image of a girl in the beach. So there you go. She's innocence and freedom and all these things are adding up, and there you go. There is another image that actually shows a girl in solitude walking towards the sea. There were seagulls flying around, and here is another thing. Like I said, towards the end of the day, you are going to be feeling that solitude, which we are going to actually bring it in. And there, she's actually walking through the pebbles. So this is a video which I'm actually bringing to you right now. And now that you have seen that video and the images, what I actually go into is each and every one of them. Like I said, in the each one of them, what is it actually? What is it going to do to your idea? Say, if I'm going to actually use as these videos as visual aids, one thing one should be very careful about is yesterday in my show I clearly said we should not be describing that specific video, that specific image. When you show, even if you are going to put a 360-degree video or picture out there, you should not be describing the video as is. You can describe that as a reality to touch. When you write a poem, especially a visually appealing poem, where what you do is to actually connect it to a reality. But the reality is not your idea. You are sending a message in general. Because reality, when you connect it to a specific reality, it's going to narrow it down to that one specific portion of your idea. Or how do I say this is going to be? Earlier somebody was saying, I don't want to literally plagiarize that person. What it is when you specifically take that idea and put into your context and into this image, and the idea should be projecting out through the image instead of the image going out, conveying the idea. That's not how it should be. The idea should be there through the image. So the projection should be the idea, and the image actually only enhances the idea to rightfully say that is this. Even though at that time everybody clearly said that it's going the other way around than you're explaining, and the correction was made. So even me kind of blabbered at that time. So that happens, that happens especially even when you are writing. This happens. Say there is a point at which you come to and say, okay, this is not what I want to really say, this is not what I want to say. That's a time when you look at an image and say, okay, I am not able to put things into words, so I'm going to actually show some of the images. So you take and say for example, the video starts with the video I shown starts with this girl in a beach walking through through some maybe a wooded area, but she's in a beach, and she turns around and you can see her face. So if I'm going to actually start that one portion, I'm going to actually go like this, so I would like to show this, but I will come to that in a bit. But I will start with innocence in the early age that comes to you from all corners of the world, where majority of the planet Earth covered with the water and the oceans, they surround you, and you in solitude walking through the wooded areas of life. And then you turn around and look back into what paths you passed, what footprints you left. See, this is how you get the image that this person is around the water, this person is going through the wooded areas, but you say, look, I'd say the wooded areas of life. I said the oceans that are covering most or the majority of the planet is 75%, I think, or 70, 75, I don't know, whatever it is. Yeah, I'm not into that. Okay, so my general knowledge is not that super. So 75%, 70% is covered with water, say, and then I see a lot of 70s going up. Yeah, so coming to that, so what we will do is, okay, when that's a distraction, I distracted myself out. But when I say that 70%, or the majority of the which is connected to water, but you are beside that. That means you are beside a majority. You are beside your ideas, or you being part of that wonderful majority part of the world, rather than your solitude. But still, alone, you walk beside that water in solitude. Then you turn around and look back at the paths you passed and the footprints you left. See, this is how you develop an idea. So let's take it to the next level. Okay, I'll come back to it. Yes, now we come to the toughest part of this whole process, and I'm going to actually pick those pictures. This is where we are going to go through the images. In the part where I was actually, you can see me when I actually shown the whole video and told about the first video piece I have shown. I have said something, I have said something that is much more detailed. It was maybe it had a little too much of detail. and that those things that comes up as details, they are not often happens, because I have an idea about where to actually go with the poem, even though 95% of the time when I do something like this, I usually may not have that idea in my mind. I started with the idea of bringing everything to a girl, but even though if you need to watch the previous videos like developing an idea, and as well as from a phrase, I have told that even when you start, I took tools like a tree, birds, sun, seasons, and weather, like falling dew, melting dews, and falling frost, and snow and rain, sunlight spreading around. These are tools. It is used, and it gives you the visual aid of what is happening. Basically that's the idea. Then I use something very important in every aspect, because most of the poems I write are romantic poems. A girl, as I'm a man, I use a girl. Well, there are people who use, I'm at this point, I don't want to make anybody feel less off. I'm not saying just romance can be from a man to a man, a woman to a woman, a man to a woman, a woman to a man. Everything is included. But when it comes to, I cannot, when I speak about from my perspective, or a third person perspective about me and my relationship, I can only speak about a man's relationship to a woman. That you should keep in mind. Unless the poem really requires where the third person is actually a third person who is speaking about the love of a girl to me, or a girl to another man, then it comes to it, you need to take it in that direction. But that can be easily changed with just the voice of things. These are some of the directories I actually take to myself, and like I said, most of the people who are working from yesterday, from using from the phrase, and came up with the ideas that are coming out. I am really inspired by it. I am inspired by it. They actually are using things I said. That is amazing. As usual, my chair is kind of slipping around. You guys cannot see me. Oh, that's another thing. You cannot see me. I now I thought, okay, you are seeing me. I left the hat downstairs, when I went for a break. So coming down to what is the first thing, I actually took the idea, and I actually wrote down the particular piece of which I said at that time, which is, I'm going to, let me see if I can show you the actual video once more. And this is where we are actually seeing, and I think this may actually interview. No, it didn't. Actually, you can see the video. This is a video where I am actually saying innocence. I will actually show you the video. This is the video part where you can see the girl coming and looking at it. So let me stop it there before we go into the next piece. So the next piece automatically plays. So what did I say? I said, innocence in the early age that comes to you from all corners of the world, where majority of the planet Earth covered with water and oceans, they surround you, and you in solitude walking through the wooded areas of life, and then you turn around and look back into what paths you passed, what footprints you left. I actually noted it down. I actually wrote it down listening back to that video during the break, so that I can get that thing in there exactly as is. Pretty much this is what I said. Okay, this is by just doing it. So how I am going to bring it into a poem. Innocence in the early age that comes to you from all corners of the world. And I need to see. I don't think you can see things. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this thing back. And I think I'm in the field. Oh boy. There you go. I don't think you see in the field, when it's coming into the field. Okay, so it's all dark screen that happened. Yeah, techos happens. I'm not a magician with technology, as you may have already noticed that. So, let us get it, because I have too many things on my screen. Innocence in the early age. Okay, so this is how I treat this and how I make it into a poem. I'm going to write the whole thing, so this is going to take a little time, as this is not often happens, because I have everything in my mind already planned. This is my idea. The idea is already in my head. The idea is already in my mind. The idea is already in my veins. It's going through me. So let's get to it. Okay. I usually don't speak out, but when I write something, I will actually come to it. Okay, I'm typing in the wrong place. Okay, this one, I actually increase the size of the font too. See? Mistake I did yesterday. Okay, I think there's these guys can actually, I don't want to, it should be 12. Okay, this is, I'm actually taking it. I don't want to miss anything. Maybe a 5-pointer. So let's see. So this is the time when I actually decide, okay, how many lines I need in a stanza, because sometimes it becomes a stanza. Sometimes I can just make it a quartet. Usually my practice is to leave it at quartets, but this is, we are going after each image, so it may have to be bigger than just 4 lines. So that's what I was just, because in one line, the rest of the things I cannot say it. So here is what I'm going to actually do. I may actually increase the number of lines in the stanza. So, okay. Okay, I may have to go back to the original to the. So the first one I actually took, and pretty much I actually composed it into something that is more readable. So I'm going to read it out. Innocence in the early age that comes from all corners of the world to you, as the majority of the earth with water covered surround you, and even in that, walking in solitude through the wooded paths of life, and you turn to look back at the paths past, and footprints left. So I'm going to take the article out of there, so that, because when I actually read it, I know that it doesn't fit properly. To look back at paths passed and footprints left, that will be easier for me to read. Here's the thing, okay? You need to look at your comfort. You need to look at what you want to say. This is actually a speech from you to the reader, to the person. So when as a poet, it's not a person who is reading that. When a person is reading, it is actually that person is listening to you. That's where, this is, you can take it in many ways, but I strictly follow that. If you want to take it in a different direction, you can do that. That's up to you. But this is where I actually, uncompromisingly, I stand with this. So we will go into the next, what is it? The picture or video, whatever it is, we actually say. So we will go. Okay, the next video is. This is a video of something that I actually say a beach. So this beach, I actually chose the beach because the idea in my mind kind of actually speaks like that. So I'm going to actually go ahead and pause it here and go back to the here. So let's come back to it, okay? And we saw a beach from an aerial view of the beach, which is moving. We are moving onto the water, over trees and palm trees and other things. Usually the beach, you see a lot of palm trees and other vegetation, which is pretty unique to that area. So something is, our view is actually moving there. So that's what we are actually going to see. The paths passed. So what is there in the seaside? So I'm not going to say beach. I'm going to say seaside. What are these things? Because always there is something that comes to my mind. So this is where I'm actually going into, which is the thing I'm going to actually take is, okay, I'm going to take that as the paths passed. Okay, so what exactly you have seen in the past? It's pretty much a lot of wonderful things, a lot of painful things, a lot of things that you despise, or you got angry with, or you hate. People who did a lot of weird things to you. You yourself have done things you don't want to really do, but at that time there is no choice. You did it. The hurt you give. So now the things I'm actually getting into my mind. Okay, what are things I can see? Even though the video I have seen is something that is an aerial view, where it is not giving me details, but it's giving me a bigger picture from an aerial view, and it is a moving thing towards that ocean, towards that majority, towards that big ocean. So that's where I'm actually bringing it into. So the way I'm going to actually take it is here. Let me go into it. I may actually keep on changing this. See, I'm going. Look where I'm going, because this is where I'm going to actually see. I'm actually coming to a point where, yeah, the video mattered. Okay, so I think we are back into that video thing again. Okay, so what are we actually seeing in that video? So I'm going to go into the grandeur of the idea rather than the video. This is where I actually say, do not try to describe the video. Take that video and make sure that image is something that you use to project your idea rather than fall into the trap. I'm not saying anything about that. I'm not really saying anything about that video at all. I'm not talking about the beach. I'm not talking about the palm trees. I'm not talking about whatever you're seeing as a majority. You see, look where I actually end up with. So this is how you look at it. You take something. In the end of it, I'm going to come to a point. Okay, you keep this thing. Oh, okay. What is our spelling guy? I don't know. Did I spell it wrong? I don't think I spelled it wrong. So what I will do is, okay, I will just quick check on that, and you see, but a new beginning. I don't know why he didn't like that. So forget about it. So yeah, sometimes our spell checker and other things, grammar checkers, will come back at it. But we don't care about spelling and grammar. Okay, don't care about all that shit. So that is where I come with the second stanza, and then we actually moved. Okay, now the idea need to move on. So once I get into the end of it, you will get the idea. You may see all these things a lot. When I actually really write, you see it's rare that I come to with almost nothing. So let's get into the media part. So the next one is this is interesting. This is a very, very interesting thing, which I'm actually jumping into. This is where I said I may have to move through a specific area where we are actually coming to the climax. The climax is the sunset. That I'm actually bringing you there. I'm actually taking you to the end of the idea right now. You should get the end of the idea right now. But you're not going to. I'm not going to tell you the end of the idea. So that's the thing. So let us come back to this, and let me stop this. If I don't stop it, it kind of keeps on playing it there. Taking my memory out. So let's go back to it. So this is how a poem is developed. So walking into, okay, now you see it is a sunset we are actually seeing. There I'm actually going to bring things with the next two pictures, because one is you have seen the sunset. Then in the sunset there is a little girl dancing. So that's what I stopped there. So let's not go deep beyond that point. So a new beginning, but a new beginning. Nothing ever ends there, but it's a new beginning. Innocence all through. Okay, so innocence is something which we talk about in the beginning. This is where it comes to. Because even when you go through each and every point of your life, my idea actually is to actually tell that even when you go through each and every crazy shit of your life, all the chaos, why is it becoming beautiful? So that's what I'm coming to from taking the previous one. Why is the first part in the first line of the second stanza actually says, the wonders seen in a world in all chaos still beautiful, the wonders heard in all the screams that still echoes, the wonders learned. Okay, I need a comma here, otherwise, people may actually read it too much. The wonders learned all tools of life to be lived. Everything one element in a flight of fancy. What is that one element? What part is that one element? This is where I'm coming to. Innocence. See, that's the idea. Innocence. So, what is it? That's where I'm actually taking literally taking that next image. There is that clouds moving. There is a girl dancing. This is the images I'm actually going to take. How I'm going to use that? Here you go. See, I always misspell that. So I'm going to add more to this. I am having multiple thoughts in this. This, you see, it's just a mind and emotion game here, okay? Because you need to bring that emotion in. So that's why I kept on going back to that image and looking at it. So now you can see there are other pictures that comes in. These pictures, why I chose and put it into that order, you may understand right now, but you don't have to do that. You don't have to put it in order. Okay, that like yesterday I said, you can change this order. You can change this order in any way you are comfortable with, because your main objective is to get your idea out in front of the people in the best possible way, in the most unique possible way. So I'm going to go back to our good little media thing. Where is it? Okay, so now we have played this too. We have played this dance too. So that's what he actually brought in, the dance part. And And I'm saying innocent all through the wonders of life danced when moments of happiness, sadness, and anger clutched. So there I bought it. Now the next part is, I'm going to actually bring in where the solitude. Okay, what actually is the reason why we initially I said, even in the beginning, so everything walking in solitude and sitting in solitude. I think in the last thing I clearly said what exactly this solitude going to play in it. Okay, so let's coming into that. So I'm going to take you back here, and I hope this thing is going to stay in all perfection because I need to see what I'm showing. So uh, here at this point I may have to actually go into, okay, this is a girl. What we have seen is two images of solitude. One, both of them, I'm not actually showing the face of the girl. I think you get the idea. I'm not showing the face. Both of these pictures were chosen with the idea that somebody should be actually going away into that ocean. Somebody should not be even looking back at this point. They are going into that ocean. That journey, that long journey, is what it is all about. Life, many ways, is a journey where you carry a lot of things in upon you. uh, Physically, okay, you have to put on clothes, but spiritually speaking, you take a lot of things with you to that ocean. And that's the thing. It's a very interesting concept. In many religious concepts, divine concepts, or spiritual concepts, some people don't even believe in any of the spirituality or any of those things. Even for them, they carry things. They don't believe in things. You see, disbelief is a belief of the atheist. I always say that. So I have a lot of friends who are atheists, whom I have great respect for. They are very nice people. Not all atheists are really weird. There are some weird atheists too. So all those things are on the path. Here's the thing. You need to talk through this. This is a talk. This is a continuous talk. So that's why I'm actually doing this. I need to talk. There are times you can see me just sitting here in my chair or through my webcam, if it is working. I need to buy a new webcam. Let me find a job, and get a money. So I'll buy a new webcam for that. This time I'll be buying something better, not some Chinese made dung. So here's the thing. So what is the reason why these images I'm actually, what is the reason we want to actually show? Okay, that's my question at this point. Okay, so of the universe and receive life's blessing one element at a time. So then what is the connection? What are we going to connect to? How do I actually bring my idea into the bigger picture with this backward, showing the back, to the rest of the world? So this path is leading to what? There is a sunset, isn't it? And that sunset is what we already shown. And like I said in the earlier image, in earlier video, in earlier part of the video, that sunset is not an end of things. It's beautiful most of the time. So, but it's an inevitable thing, isn't it? It's not going to differ in any manner. It may actually go when the earth tilts in from north to south or south north, when it tilts back. So that is only change. But the inevitable part is every day at a specified time the sun must set. So that's an inevitable part. So inevitability is my word. So I'm taking inevitability as a word, and let me go into it. So let me expand that. that is a fragment, so I may have to go back into the poem and change that. But I actually came with this: a path that leads to an inevitable dusk, where in the same way one came to the wonders of world, solitude awaits for the cheerful, the broken-hearted, and the mute. Solitude one feels as every sunset one watches, silence inside grows. Silence that brings meanings unknown to the forefront of mind, where pain and passion evolves into gain and compassion. Yeah, that's not bad. It's more onto that side. So now next part of the video is something much more crazy. Okay, where is my media? Okay, let us see. This is the last one I chose. Is this? So as you may see, it is an image where a lady is walking through really big pebbles. So let me go back to here. Let me stop this. So I think you may have seen the video. Let us see. Okay, I don't know whether you have seen the whole thing. So as you may actually, oops. Okay, I actually clicked on. I said, I have too many things in this, so I'm going to actually read it once more as you haven't seen it, because this page is not over. I didn't really notice. I was not knowing. I have too many things on my screen. I am my this and that and things that are getting injected into it. So a path that leads to what? The inevitable dusk. Okay, so let us bring this. See, like I said, I have too many things on my screen. I hope you are still seeing this. I needed to actually look at that because I'm looking at that image separately. I have shown you, but I'm looking at that image once more. So here is where I needed to come to a conclusion, because, I don't want to take this too long. I can take this for 100 more lines, but here we go. What is that image suggests? That's there's somebody walking through a path. You don't know what is that path. If you go ahead through that path, when you reach that point where you meet that inevitable end, do we have a choice? This is a question philosophically many people asked. Okay, when you reach that end, do we have a choice? What are the choices? Because everything that is given to you has a choice. Everything that comes to your life has a choice. But when you reach the so-called end part of it, do we have a specific end to it? Or specific choices to that end? That's the question. So that's why I chose the picture of somebody going sideways. She's walking through a really rough terrain, which is big stones and big pebbles. Actually, I can say pebbles. Yeah, that's a good word, pebbles. And she's walking through that, and maybe it hurts. Maybe it is for her pleasure. Maybe it is like a penance, where she's walking through it so that she can get rid of some of these other pains, taking that little pain into her through her leg, because leg is very sensitive. So let me come to it. I may change this a bit, but that I will do it later when I clean it up. I'll look at that later. Uh, I think I have the full idea right now in my mind. I'm not sure about this because then it goes into a completely different image. I don't need that exclamation there though. I want to stay because this is where we choose words. When this I see it like that, what is the problem? Ooh, okay. I'll come back to it. Let me go through the idea. Okay. Every step, I don't know whether people are seeing this whole thing. Let me see if I can actually bring more lines into it. Okay, I think I'm out of lines. Okay. Okay, I think there it ends. Okay, there you go. Okay, every step. Okay, I don't know whether you have seen the end of this. Oh yeah, the love for you I carried in my heart, left footprints no time can erase. Now you know how I actually twisted it and brought it to a girl. There you go. End of story. End of the idea. That's how I write poems. So the original idea, I think I'm going to actually tell you, original idea that was in my mind. Okay. The original idea I had in my mind was, I am, say, or a man, not me, a man, say he is in his 90s, almost nearing 100 years old, and he's, he's in love, and he loved somebody, and it is almost the end of it. So towards that end of that time, he's looking back at things. That's what most of the people do. But everybody who looks back at times and they actually just literally give up on life, saying that, okay, I'm not strong enough to do anything. I'm not, without dependency. Dude, you're 90, in your 90s. I think my uncle, he was 91 or 92 when I last saw him. I think he was 92 or 93 years old. He was, when he was really remembering things, because then afterwards, he kind of started losing his memory a bit. The very last time I saw him, I don't think he understood it's me. Before that, he said, and I said, okay, yeah, keep it going. Maybe century, you can hit a century. Century is in cricket, you say century is 100, is 100. So at that time, he said, it's not the giving up part of things when you become dependent on others. That is something which I have never gone through. And even though he's much respected, then he said, I wanted to really say something, but I know he's my father's elder brother. So that respect is there. And I have never said anything disrespectful to my father or him. Then he himself actually smiled and said, there's a point at which everybody should go through what of each part of life. And this part of my life maybe is dependency. That's what I was about to say. There is I would really want to say there is a point at which there are things you must go through at each part of your life. Because when you are born, you are literally independent to your parents. Okay? Then you grow up and then you become independent. You become free. Still, your innocence is something which you are carrying all the way through from that time. The innocence don't come actually naturally to you inborn. You learn that. You learn to be innocent. You learn to act that innocence. Then you come back to things and say, I am not going to depend on anything else. My children, my grandchildren, my relatives, my friends, they are all, I'm independent of all of them. I can stand on my own. This is like the strength of youth and, middle age and, upper middle age. When you become 80, 85 years old, or 80 to 90 is upper middle age, or I call it upper middle age. Then after 90s, you're getting older and you are much older, and when you are at that stage, then you should be dependent on things because, you are like that little child. You don't have the strength to your legs. You don't have the muscles, growing anymore. Many of your organs inside may be failing. Things like that. So what do? At that time, dependency is what matters to you. So you should depend on others for your protection, for your safety, for your care. In the same way, when you look back at things and leave the footprints, there is only one part that, not my angle, that character, if I am at that age, I'm looking back at this point or any point behind, I can see I grew up to learn to love a girl. And that footprint of my love that I am leaving at this point, every footprint, every step I take forward, no time can erase it. That is the idea that came to my mind first. So, well, guys, I'm going to actually end this right now. I think this itself actually is a big exercise, and I think the video may be much longer than I can possibly imagine. So, I'm going to load this into my lonelypoet.org. instead of the YouTube, so that lonelypoet.org is where things are. So there are a lot of technical things that we did. I think we need to come to that, and at this point, I'm going to have to really stop this. It's almost an hour, I think. So I'll catch you guys in a little bit. Okay.